Hi, my name is Charlotte Smith and I'll be addressing the case study between Sarah and Raj, who come from different cultural backgrounds within the case study. So the case study highlights the different communication styles between the two. Sarah coming from the United States and demonstrating a more low context communication style, where Raj is from India and demonstrates a high context communication style. The differences in communication styles can lead to misunderstanding and conflicts if not addressed appropriately, where in this case it wasn't addressed appropriately. The first concept I'll be focusing on is conflict. The concept I'll be using is by Kay, which is called Cultivating a Conflict Positive Workplace. So, conflict in an intercultural communication arises when individuals from different cultural backgrounds have different expectations and interpretation of communication behaviours. In this case, Sarah's direct and explicit communication style clashes with Raj's indirect style. Sarah's focus on schedules and punctuality might be perceived as insensitive by Raj, who values building rapport and understanding unspoken cues. The article mentions mindfulness as a tool to manage conflict by being more mindful of cultural differences and actively listening to understand the other person's perspective. The second concept I'll be focusing on is active listening. So this is by Dwyer, which is relating to the textbook. And to maintain the communication gap between active listening is crucial. Active listening involves paying full attention to the speaker, understanding their perspective, as well as responding empathetically. In this scenario, Sarah could benefit from active listening by paying attention to Raj and his nonverbal cues, such as body language, tone of voice. On the other hand, Raj could be more explicit in his communication style to avoid misunderstanding. This article relates to the case study through exploring active listening strategies that can be employed to bridge the cultural gaps between the two and foster effective communication. My evaluation and evidence: Sarah's direct and explicit communication style, as seen in her preference for clear and concise messages and adherence to schedules. This style can be perceived as assertive and even confrontational by individuals from high context culture who rely on implicit cues and indirect communication. Raj, coming from a high context culture, might interpret Sarah's directness as a lack of insensitivity or respect. Raj's resilience on nonverbal cues and his tendency to build rapport through shared experience and personal connections. This style can be easily misunderstood by individuals from low context cultures, such as Raj, who prioritize verbal communication. Sarah, coming from a low context culture, might not fully appreciate the significance of Raj's non-verbal cues, leading to misinterpretations and conflict between the both of them. Both of the individuals need to be mindful of their communication styles and their differences, which they weren't aware in this situation. The efforts to bridge the cultural gap was very minimal. Active listening, empathy, and open communication is absolutely essential for resolving intercultural conflicts and fostering harmonious relationships. The conclusion I've concluded by understanding the cultural differences in communication styles, both Raj and Sarah can develop strategies to improve their communication, work together more effectively. Active listening, empathy, and open communication is essential for resolving intercultural conflicts and fostering harmonious relationships. My references is located in my script that I've already sent through, so which is Harvard, the textbook, for the evidence laying out and how to pinpoint the evidence. I used a reference by O'Sullivan, and that one was called Nonverbal Behaviour and Communication in the Workplace. And my other concept addressing conflict was by Kay, and that was Cultivating a Conflict Positive Workplace and how mindfulness and facilitates constructive conflict management. Thank you for listening to my presentation.